Hey guys, Kris Jones, episode 81 of Ask Me Anything. I hope you guys enjoyed my previous interview with Al Martino from Northeast Snacks. I don't know about you, but I ate about 12 ounces of Middlesworth potato chips right after that interview. And I had his famous chocolate bar from Michael Moots, which is actually named after his company. So in video 79, we talked about public speaking. Had really great feedback on that, but I failed to really address one of the primary reasons that people don't public speak in the first place, because it scares the crap out of them. They develop so much anxiety around this idea of getting up in front of people that they avoid any opportunity to do it. But I could tell you that executives, business owners, top salespeople, etc., need to develop strong public speaking skills. So what I thought was, knowing that anxiety in public speaking is so common, that I would put together my 5 tips for how I have dealt with anxiety and how you can going into your presentations. First tip, you need to know your material cold. I mentioned this in video 79, but I can't stress it enough. There is no better solution to managing anxiety in public speaking than having a serious command of the information you are delivering. You need to be the expert, and whatever it takes. The second is you need to practice. So especially in your first 20 or 50 times that you public speak, clearly you'll start getting invited back and you'll be talking about a lot of the same subject matter. So the rehearsal time dwindles. You may even experiment with different strategies for how you present the material, using some of the tips that I mentioned in 79, like using visuals, icebreakers, and some other things. But practice is critical. I mean, thinking back to some of my biggest presentations, whether I did a commencement speech at Penn State University. I was president of my law school class, and I delivered a commencement speech there. Going into both of those presentations, I had rehearsed it 5-10 times, so that my delivery, by the time the actual presentations came along, was pretty crisp, because I was able to fix some things that I heard. I was able to really not rely so much on what my notes said or whatever. I rehearsed and I knew the material through practice. So establishing rapport with your audience is critical. In video 79, I mentioned this idea of always starting with either a situational story or an icebreaker, but I want to take that to even another level, because the nice thing about starting that way is you may, tone down your anxiety level right out of the gate. But what happens when your mouth starts getting dry and you're 3 or 4 or 5 minutes in and you start hearing the demons in your head about how your presentation sucks? So what could you do? You have to take advantage of storytelling. You also have to try to incorporate some humor. You need to find ways of kind of getting out of your head. So what I would used to do is, early in my speaking career, I would take a bottle of water up on stage with me. And whenever I started to develop nerves, I actually would just pause and take a sip of my water. But I had trained myself through practice that was an opportunity for me to get out of my head and to come back into the presentation and to kind of collect myself. Because what happens is, if you don't have something that could disrupt that anxiety, it could spiral out of control. I mean, I've never done it personally, but I have seen people who a whole number of, I don't want to scare you as you're listening to this, but I've seen people forget, like totally blank out, and then everything just spirals out of control. We don't want that. So build your confidence before you get on stage. One of the secrets to me being able to get up in front of thousands of people like I did at my law school, commencement speech, do TV interviews or whatever else, is that I actually use like mantras. Like I will repeat in my head before I go on air or before I present that the opportunity is bigger than you, Kris. The opportunity is bigger than you. That it's not about me. It's about having this amazing opportunity to have a platform to connect with people and to educate people, entertain them depending on what the scenario or the presentation's on, etc. So, I've gone out, before I've got out on stage, I've repeated things in my head like, I'm going to crush this. This is going to be the best presentation of my life. Now, you don't have to say that out loud. You say it in your head, and you say it repeatedly enough that by the time you get out on stage, people are going to feel your energy, and it's going to make a difference in your ability to control anxiety. The fifth and final tip that I'm going to share with you in this episode for managing anxiety when public speaking, I had already alluded to. It's this idea of staying out of your head. I have seen people perfect the pause. You remember Bill Clinton when he used to speak? Not that that guy had experienced any level of nerves when he spoke, but he was able to get a cadence with his speaking so that he never lost control, right? He would pause. He would throw in a joke. He would notice someone from the audience. By the way, that's a great way of doing it. The other way of staying out of your head is asking the audience, so turning the material to them. How many people in the audience have had a child within the last 5 years? How many people in the audience spend at least 15% of their budget on paid digital marketing? How many people in the audience? These are techniques that take the pressure off of you, get you out of your head, and focus it on the audience. Those are some tips, guys. I hope you're enjoying these videos on public speaking. I will be back to you in the next episode where I'm going to talk to you about some of the common mistakes that you could avoid when public speaking. Take care.